straight, aim true, arrows by the dozens.
Don't scuttle away before you've tried some of the ocean's finest bounty. How many crab claws would you like? 3? 11?
Tomatoes?
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Lonesome, spiritless, perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine.
Be the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Lonesome, spiritless, perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine. Aim straight, aim true, arrows by the dozens.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies size seals ever seen.
Be the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Get it while it's fresh. This batch is only hours from the sea.
Be the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
Not in the mood for cheese.
Dearest customer, I've never seen an aura so plagued by ether. Thank Astarte, I've just the earth scroll to ground you.
Fresh haddock. Moving for fire.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
Heavenly herring. Delicious dogfish. Yours for a scrap of gold each.
Penny takers? Come on, you chickens!
What? Oh, it's you! What news? Oh, she's a dear girl indeed. She's got a little cabin in the cooler forest, not so far to the north of here, in fact. And though she doesn't make it into Sicil often, it's a comfort to know she's keeping the watch near our border. I hope she hasn't got mixed up in all this ugly business with the counselor.
The hunter returns! I hope you are here to shop rather than sleuth.
is coming. Coming for me. The void is coming. Coming for me. The void is coming. Coming for me.
This entire place is splattered in blood.
Someone must really dislike imps.
So much blood lost, squandered. Why? The void is coming. Coming for me. Another human. Away with you, damned Reaper! Take your scythe to grain, not my soul! The bane of all life-loving souls, maniacs and their gods. The humans, they wanted Lord Boreas's great starstone, so they fashioned him a staff, the elemental staff. It makes him king, for it dethroned his brothers. So glad was he with power, yet another bane, that we were given to the humans and their knives. Stone of stars, stone of blood, accursed be. Oh, blissful tidings, you have slain the betrayer. Then seek no more, for you have found the forge here in this hall. Throw in the staff, and it will fracture in the fire. In his castle, in the dungeon, the fortress we built him, all he longs for is eternal winter. A season of pain and imprisonment everlasting. Fear not like I must. Away, damned Reaper, away! Oh!
Now his purpose is nearly served. May he consume this entire dimension in his foolish delusions. Soon enough, my immaculates, your conduit will raise you to divine heights. This bloodstone has an ingress between fates, our link to the next stage of being. Never mind the last of them. The stone will suffice. I believe we've done it. Yes, its power is incomparable. As for the Frost King, I suppose we can't be surprised, can we? Madness befits the feeble-minded. Now his purpose is nearly served. May he consume this entire dimension in his foolish delusions. Soon enough, my immaculates, your conduit will raise you to divine heights. This bloodstone has an ingress between fates, our link to the next stage of being. Never mind the last of them. The stone will suffice. I believe we've done it. Yes, its power is incomparable. As for the Frost King, I suppose we can't be surprised, can we? Madness befits the feeble-minded. Now his purpose is nearly served. May he consume this entire dimension in his foolish delusions. Ah, Source Hunter. I had so hoped to avoid meeting you here. But perhaps we were bound to face one another. Your kind have long interfered with mine, after all. You must think me quite the villain, mustn't you? The things you've seen. Without the proper context, I can imagine it's all quite shocking. Horrific, even. And I suppose you must have pictured me, some bloodthirsty madwoman, intent on what, I wonder? Power? Gold? Chaos for its own wild sake? The truth is rather less simple than the imagination would conceive. You know as well as I the enlightening capacity of these stones, Source Hunter. I've heard tell that you've been zapping the life from precious star stones, and that you are bolstered by the power within them. Your experiences are unique in all of Rivellon's history, but you are hardly the only player in this story. As Starstone enlightens you, its child, Bloodstone, enlightens something of my own creation. Tut-tut, Source Hunter. You and I both know I could hardly trust you with such information. Though if you continue stomping around in my wake, you're sure to understand soon enough. Barbarism. Quite a chauvinistic term to apply to something one hardly comprehends, isn't it? But I will concede, the power I intend to bring to bear upon Rivellon is no more divine than your boot. We are free agents, Source Hunter, all of us, and we owe no higher power our blood or our flesh. I have posed as a priest in service of a truth greater than any goddess could hope to be. Surely, the sight of a bit of blood doesn't turn your stomach, Source Hunter. No, if only my dear Immaculates took the same approach to our great work. But it seems all too often that only the most vicious of them rise up to the required tasks. All the same, these deaths were necessary. Soon enough, the pain they suffered, and pain you have suffered, Source Hunter, will be washed away, cleansed. This is my promise to all of Rivellon. Death. I've nearly forgotten the meaning of the word, what it means to most. But I am no monster, Source Hunter. Like you, I have seen the living snatched so senselessly from this world, and I have mourned. But I have also discovered that weeping was senseless. Like infants, we squall, clinging to a day that is not ours to keep. Now that I know the truth, I am free. What you see as slaughter is in fact a dispassionate process. I take no more pleasure in this so-called destruction than a wave takes in the flood. What I do must be. I wish you could understand. So you have seen it? Yes, it's as I thought. You and I have more in common than you think. You know as well as I that the void is coming. In fact, if I'm very precise, it's already here. But you needn't be afraid. The void is ourselves. We are destined to rejoin it. And here I believed I was starting to reach you. My foolish optimism bears yet another disappointment. But I do believe we agree on one particular point, Sauce Hunter. This does indeed end now.
Enlightened ones, your conduit calls you to your ultimate purpose. Heed the Void's call. Offer your souls to the demons that beckon you. Charming of Astarte to send her scouts upon me, but no matter. The Bloodstone is mine, and the witch cannot be saved.
Poison my foes!
I'll write my next tale in your blood. My turn through the gauntlet? With pleasure. If this battle be my last, know I went out fighting in your name.
Stitch of time, hey, my friends? Vengeance from the skies!
Your enemies are my prey, Source Hunter.
See how fast she scuttles!
What do you think, Source Hunter? Shall I start shredding from the top or the bottom?
This is the end! For you! Lucky find!
Another starstone, another piece of ourselves perverted toward Leandra's will.
Soon she'll have desecrated our very souls. We've got to end this, and soon.
Nothing Leandra might do could shake our identities. We are source hunters. Our job is to destroy that which would harm Rivellon.
Brother, sister, we are free! And who is this? Can it be that a frail mortal human faced and bested our own scheming Boreas? Ah, but this is no mortal, I see. Strange you take the guise of a source hunter. But I shall of course honor your chosen form. Indeed, I suppose I should have expected that one of your kind would snare our brother sooner or later. Boreas always did dance uncomfortably close to the dark arts. But I suppose the others of we elemental monarchs thought it better not to interfere in the affairs of his realm. No, like fools, we waited for his pride, his hunger for more and ever more power, to pull us from our own seats of safety and into his sordid storm. We, and with us all the subjects of the realm of Fairy, do owe you our lives, Source Hunter. If I am King Sewer of the Summer Kingdom of Calvia, brother, alongside the other elemental monarchs, to the unfortunate and insane Boreas. In earlier days, we ruled the four realms of Fairy in relative peace, each of us the master of our own kingdom. But something changed in Boreas. He grew darker somehow, more than was typical of his usual melancholy. We worried, yes, but chose not to intervene. Boreas was the Lord of Hyberheim, and it was his right to rule it as he pleased. When our brother called the elemental seats to convene in Hyberheim, we were ecstatic. Boreas seemed again interested in the joint rule of Fairy, in upholding the long-established diplomacy of our lands. When we arrived, however, it was not Boreas who greeted us, but a dark figure. A woman with a stare like blackest fire. In her staff she held a demonic power, the likes of which I've never felt. And as we were sucked into its depths, we thought we'd never see the light of Fairy again. I listened closely when I could to Boreas' doings. From what I could tell, it seems this woman had little contact with our deranged brother after the initial exchange of the staff. From what I could tell, the arrangement was thus. She gave him us, contained, and in return he gave her access to his great star stone, and scores of imps he'd invited to Hyperheim. After that, the two parted, and I heard little more of the woman. In his fits of madness, Boreas would sometimes bellow abuse about the demon woman. I can only assume he meant the same who trapped us. Source Hunter, it would be my sincerest honor. Take this rune, and use it to summon me when you're near the witch once more. If she can be extracted from Boreas' ice, I'll find a way to make it so.
Let's settle that in it. We best be on our way then. The spring and autumn kingdoms won't rule themselves, you know. May our paths cross soon, Source Hunter.
I needed that. Back on my feet again.
fine specimen you are. How luxurious your contours. How lush your bearing and your beauty. Come to me, enter me slowly. Don't say that wretched word. A maiden I am, and a maiden I must remain. How terribly am I cursed. Cursed to crave the fires of desire, but forever unable to feel the lick of its flames, the thrust of its blaze. How many times have red-blooded men been invited to penetrate me, dragged into my embrace, kicking and screaming? But it is not I who is ecstatically pierced. It is them. I do not draw from them that which is meant to give life, no, their life's blood instead. I am the thousand-robed celibate, the virgin of steel chastised with chastity everlasting. I do not know. The first time a helpless victim was forced into my many-thorned frame, and he wet me utterly with his blood, I suddenly sprung to life. Boreas says it is because of this stone my head is carved from, a stone from the stars. Its sanguine tastes animate my spirit and my lust.
The seven grant abundance!
Damnation! Not even a crack! I've tried my very best, and will try and try anew. But so far this damnable ice scoffs at my every effort. I've tried my very... Sewer, you say? But that is wonderful. My faith in you as ever well placed. At your leisure, Source Hunter. Though for Akara's sake we ought not to dilly-dally too long. The White Witch is quickly growing a whiter shade of pale indeed.
This is your White Witch, then? And you're sure you want to free her, are you? Even our mad Boreas wouldn't have wasted such precious ice on a petty criminal. Whatever she did to find herself here must have been rather severe indeed. But I am in your debt. And I would be remiss not to honor your request. Shield your eyes, Source Hunter. To melt ice of this refinement I'll need to summon an equally rare flame.
Gods, it's colder than a witch's teat. How very callous of Leandra to inter her only sister in a barren tundra for eternity.
Ikara, you're all right? The ice, King Boreas, and your sister. What a frigid hell you've endured.
And yet not even a frigid hell like this could induce you to put on a shirt, could it, Ahu? My old friend, surely I have you to thank for my salvation.
That honor goes to a pair of talented source hunters, actually. If not for their efforts, I'd be quite uselessly prowling around your prison still.
Then perhaps I ought to address my savior directly. Source Hunter, is that the masquerade?
Well, what a motley crew we are. Isn't there somewhere a bit warmer we might discuss matters? Ah, yes, of course, of course. Do pardon me. I didn't mean to imply you were very clearly eternal beings in the guise of minor mortals. Not at all. Please, let's do carry on. Oh, yes, I suppose I am. But I do prefer my given name. Ikara, that is. Charmed. But I hope I haven't disappointed my own hero. Am I just as white and witchy as you'd hoped?
First things first, Source Hunter. For my freedom, I owe you every imaginable thanks. My soul had withered in this prison, and I might not have survived much longer without your help. Now, about the culprits. My corrupted sister and the mad Winter King. When I realized exactly where, and to whom Leandra was consigning me, I was certain I'd never enjoy the sun's warmth again. But neither she nor I anticipated the Source Hunter. That was her mistake, and my blessing.
I never would have imagined Leandra capable of dealing with the likes of Boreas, but she has changed into someone I hardly recognize anymore.
I take no pleasure in the memory of that night. The thought of hurting anyone or anything is abhorrent to me. But in this case, I judged it necessary. If you've come this far, I trust you've learned that the Counselor was far from a humble civil servant. This doesn't excuse my behavior, but perhaps it can help to explain it. It's a sordid story, to be perfectly frank. Two sisters, a philanderous, treacherous wizard, death and mayhem. Are you sure you're interested in such things? The sparkle in your eye belies your better nature, Source Hunter. Now I know that it is your duty to get to the heart of this. And, in truth, the events of that night were but one part of a larger and much darker matter. A matter in which I'll dare to beg your assistance before we're through with one another.
Now that terrible night.
One night, as I slept, I had a sudden revelation. No dream, but a vision. My sister Leandra and my lover Zandalor. I didn't understand, but I recognized their location. Syceel's King Crab Inn. I arrived and looked through their window, but inside, everything was wrong. Leandra had fled, and Counselor Jake stood over the wizard, a knife in his hand and hate in his eyes. As I watched, he drove the dagger deep into Zandalor's heart, and I was too late to stop him. In that moment, I broke. I saw before me not a man, not even a beast, but evil incarnate. And I used Source to slay him. On the floor lay Zandalor. In my hands, I held Jake's life force. I had sworn never to use Source, but I couldn't walk away. And so I did the unthinkable. I used the Counselor's life to save Xandalor's. He was alive, but only just. Betrayal. Murder. Source. We were all of us guilty now. If you were any other Source Hunter, I suppose you'd strike me down where I stand after that terrible admission. Fortunately for us both, you are no other Source Hunter. My own little sister, if you can imagine it. She was always the more ambitious, the more exacting of us, and she had no fear of the darkness that so often accompanies Source. Her collusion with King Boreas in imprisoning me here confirms my worst fears. She is planning something far greater than I could have anticipated. For this reason, and with a heavy heart, I must ask you, Source Hunter, to find out how far exactly Leandra has become entwined in the dark arts. I hate to extend my own invitation, Source Hunter, but I believe I ought to accompany you to Zigzax's hideout. Presumptuous, yes, but I'd recognize the imp's essence just about anywhere. Both he and you must learn more about the darkness that has extended itself into our dearest Rivellon. And I believe I know where we must begin. Ah, but unless that's a bear flailing through the threads of time, I do believe Master Zigzax is on his way. Make way, Source Hunter, landing in 3, 2...
Hunters, you've done it! Ikara is free! Ah, what good it does my impish heart to see her safe and bright as ever! We have much to discuss. Come one and all to the end of time. A spot of something warm with the soft glow of the tapestry ought to do us all a bit of good, hmm? There you are, Ikara. Now, if we're done playing hide and seek, let's not waste a jot more time. Oh, I just can't wait to pick your every synapse.
After you, Master Zigzax.
We've solved the murder and caught the culprit, yet this case feels anything but closed.
The witch killed the counselor. Murder is murder, and that's all there is to it.
Hardly. We've killed in self-defense, and I'd wager we'd do it again. Guilt rests in the details, I say. lifts like a feather, drops like a troll. Spirits of Rivellon, I call you home to the earth. Spirits of Rivellon, I call you home to the earth.
The stone is adorned with strange runes.
Chaos grips my hands today.
You are but kindling for my triumphant blaze! Feel my fiery wrath!
The time of your death is at hand!
I need a remedy! Spirits of Rivalon, I call you home to the earth! Infernal orb!
You went and whisked Willie back to Wally. Wow. Whip out your wallet and wing a bit of gold my way, and I'll wow you in return. This well wishes to work his magic. What would you like to wish, our most willing friend? Decide how much you're willing to spare, and I'll will you something wondrous in accordance. A wee wallet, yours must be. Well, here's your reward anyway. Wow, what have we here? What wealth! Please enjoy your reward.
Walter! Walter, look! Oh, woe is the wish granter, whisked so far from where he lays his hat. His powers grow weary, given enough time, and his wishes wear away as his woes wax.
I won't be able to manage much anymore, but perhaps there's still a way. What say I will some of this dreadful weather away? I think I could still manage that, and for 2,050 gold, you... Oh, what a wonder to enjoy the tinkle of gold inside me. So, Wanderer, what will it be? Shall I tame the blizzard or the volcanoes? It's time to wish your wish.
We must stop those volcanoes! Somebody could get seriously hurt!
You're right. Lava hurts.
We'll watch the volcanic waves wither into ash, will we? Wonderful! 1, 2, 3, and the volcanoes are tamed!